Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cancer Sucks podcast. My name is Adrienne Finch. I am one of your hosts, and with me, the lovely, beautiful, talented, awesome Jay Williams. Hello.
Hello.
And Jay, why don't you tell us, what are we getting into today?
Well, this is another one of those back in time episodes where we go way back to 2025, October to be specific. Just for you, Adrienne, we go back to when the Seattle Mariners were actually still in it to win it. Unfortunately, we know that it didn't really happen the way you'd hoped, but they did win this particular game, so we talked a little bit about that, which was obviously very important.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
We did get into some other really wonderful things on the podcast itself. We were really talking about, sort of the history of cancer going back, even 20 years in terms of how people really looked at cancer and that, quality of life. Yeah, that was important, but the treatment was much more important. And if you got sick, then you got sick. And we know today there are a lot of great medications out there, like Zofran, for instance, to help with nauseousness and to help control some of the side effects that come along with chemo. So we talked about that. We talked about sort of the update of my prognosis. And then, as we always try to talk about on this show, is just the positivity, right? I mean, there's so much heavy news that we unfortunately have to go through on a weekly basis when you're fighting cancer. And we talk about, it's all about perspective, right? And looking at maybe how other people have it far worse than you do and how you can stay positive with that. So it was a fun episode. And for those of you that are new to the show, remember, sometimes we do go back because this is about capturing this journey of stage 4 pancreatic cancer and kind of where we got to today. We'll have other episodes that are a little closer here in 2026, but we have some that we want to go back and share with you as well from 2025 because it's really all part of that journey, and we think it's important for you to get sort of the whole story at this point. So with that said, we hope you enjoy this episode, and Adrienne, let's roll them.
Let's roll it.
Hello, Jay. Happy Saturday.
Thanks, Adrienne. Happy Saturday to you as well.
We are here on a lovely Saturday because my baseball team, the Seattle Mariners, had a game last night, game 5 of the division, to go on to the division championship series. So Jay was kind enough to postpone our meeting by a day. And we won, so it's good news all around.
Dude, it was a good ball game. Yeah, I feel sorry for the poor folks on the East Coast because boy, that went to like 1 o'clock in the morning. I think it was a 5-hour baseball game. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was. My dad was actually at the game live in Seattle, and he said he was on his feet for 5 hours.
Oh, geez, that's a long time.
Yeah, Detroit fans staying up late, Mariners fans getting knee problems after that. It was a great game, and so I'm
the sacrifices we make for our teams.
For real. I know. I was like, okay, Cancer Sucks podcast is number 1 priority. Mariners are number 2 priority. How can we do both?
It worked out just fine.
It did. It truly did. Well, right before we started recording, we were talking about the shirts we're wearing today.
Yes.
I am wearing my Cancer Sucks podcast t-shirt that we wore back at the PanCAN walk. And you were just telling me what sweatshirt you're wearing.
Yeah. So, every year we do the Pancreatic Cancer Walk, and you were kind enough to join us this past spring, which was great. It happens in the spring every year over at Santa Monica Pier, which is phenomenal. It's just a great gathering of pancreatic cancer survivors, caregivers, people that are currently going through pancreatic cancer. And so you basically get sponsors to help, and all the money goes to great research. So if you're able to come up with $1,000, you get to join the Grand Club. So
amazing.
My people show up as always and help donate, which I appreciate so much. So this is from 2024, and then I've got a really nice sweatshirt from 2025 as well that I wear very proudly. But I also have my Cancer Sucks podcast t-shirt, which I love, and I think at some point we're going to make those available for everyone, right?
Oh yeah, we have to. We definitely will.
Yeah, we'll make sure that a lot of the money goes into cancer research and everything, but they're a fun design. I love the design a lot, and that's all thanks to Adrian.
What? No. You
Very
and
cool
your
design.
pals. Yeah, it looks great. And I mean it's perfect on a t-shirt. I think it's very cool. So yeah, you guys will have to check it out. We'll definitely leave links when they're live in all the
Perfect.
show notes and everything. But yeah, I finally remembered to actually put it on for the show. I was like not remembering. I'm just, going about my day wearing my normal clothes and I'm like, what am I thinking?
Gotta wear something that fits the
Yeah.
occasion, right?
Yeah, seeing as I'm recording in my kitchen, the least I can do is wear a cool shirt.
That's right.
I love that it's Saturday. It's a different vibe. Tell me about your week. What has been
Oh
going
my
on? I
gosh.
know last we talked, your chemo was postponed. That
Yeah.
was back on the 2nd. Did they postpone it to this past week or
No, it
they?
actually happened.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I did get my chemo regimen this past Monday. My platelet counts, fortunately, were back up. They were kind of borderline, but they were enough to the doctors felt comfortable enough to go ahead and bring me in because, as I think we talked the last time, the reason your platelet counts go down a lot of times is because of the chemo. So it's kind of cause and effect. So much, when battling cancer, it's kind of maddening because it's the domino effect. One thing kind of triggers another thing, and you're always trying to keep things back in balance the best you can. So they knew that even though I was borderline, the platelets were probably going to go back down. But the hope is by the time I have my next chemo, which will be a week from Monday, that they'll be able to regenerate and be back up again in a good area. So they've also decided they held off on the new drug because they were talking about bringing in a new drug to the mix. I'm currently getting two drugs as part of my chemo regimen. So they said, look, we think that they're still being effective, maybe not as effective as they were. But so with the next chemo that I have, I will also be getting a CT scan. And the CT scan I get on a fairly regular basis. And that really identifies and lets them know if anything has grown or continues to grow. And so I think they're going to make some decisions about the chemo moving forward, after that. So overall, pretty good, just the fatigue that normally comes in, the normal stuff. Well, I will tell you one crazy thing, and again, this kind of encapsulates how crazy this battle for cancer can be. So, one of the challenges I've had is really the food is going right through me. I'm not getting a lot of the nutrition that I need to, and this happens a lot, especially with cancers in the digestive area, mine being pancreatic cancer, people that have, liver, stomach, colon, kind of same type of situation. And so they're trying really hard to figure out what they can do in order to get this under control. And one of those things I hate to talk about, diarrhea, that word, it's a terrible word. But
But it happens
they
to
do
the
invent it
best
a
of
lot.
us.
They do mention a lot in the Pepto-Bismol commercials. So
They
I guess I
do. You know
can't say
what?
it.
It's
But
normalized for
but
sure.
yeah, but after you've had it for like over a month, you start to go, something is just not right here.
Hmm,
Can't
hmm.
quite put my finger on it. And so they've brought in all kinds of different drugs for me to try. I've done the over-the-counter stuff. They've prescribed some stuff. And so still not getting to where I need to be. So they've now put me on a high cholesterol drug. Not because I have high cholesterol, mind you, but because the side effect of the high cholesterol drug is constipation.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So they're actually giving me the drug for the side effect, not for the actual reason they give you the drug.
Right. Yep.
So added bonus, I guess, if I was going to get high cholesterol, maybe my cholesterol will stay in the normal range because
Yeah.
but it's also not it's a powder mix that you mix in with like a little bit of water that you
Mhm.
drink twice a day. So I haven't seen a lot of positive results yet, but I just started it too, so
Right.
we'll see. But again, I thought that was kind of funny that they now give you drugs because of the side effects
Oh, yeah.
because of the
Oh, yeah.
actual reason for the drug itself.
No, I mean, I think we talked about this last time for a little bit too, that it's always a give and take. Like you take one medicine, it has some other
Yes.
thing go wrong, or this feels like that same situation. You're taking a medication for something else, but you actually
Yeah.
want the side effect it's causing. Oh, what a trip. Well, I do hope that that works. We love the fun news. This is where we keep it real, Jay. We keep it
Yes.
100.
Yeah, no, and again, part of agreeing to do this is I wanted to be 100% honest always, with
Yeah.
with you, of course, and everybody that's tuning in. Yeah, it's just part of the journey, and there's so many, by the way, I've been checking out a lot of people that are doing TikTok videos, and they're all going through various forms of cancer, and they're all so brave, and I appreciate the fact that they're all so honest, because I think when you first get this diagnosis that you have cancer, regardless of whatever kind of cancer it is, it can be very daunting. And I think when you can hear from other people that have not only fought it, but are continuing to strive and fight it and still have a really good attitude about it, I think that is such part of the big part of the battle is staying positive and having your tribe, your group that are there to support you. That support is so important because, we're only human. We're going to have our bad days. We're going to have our good days. And when you have those bad days, you need those friends that can just kind of prop you up and go, hey, you'll get through this. It's a get through day, as I like to call it. You
Yeah.
do have those days where you just don't feel great and you're like, you know what? It's a get through day. I know tomorrow's a new day. I'll be better. And that's what you
Absolutely.
have to do. But so much of this stuff is mental, and they don't really prepare you for that when they give you the cancer diagnosis. They tell you, you've got it. Here's medically what we're going to do to treat it. But there's a whole mental side of that kind of comes along as well, because you really go through this so much emotions. And then even when it goes into, you essentially don't have it anymore, but there's always that worry in the back of your head, like, well, it could come back. And it's exactly what happened with mine. And so you're never 100% free like you were before you were diagnosed. So it does change you. It does. But again, like so much we talk about, it's really up to you individually how it changes you. It can change you for a positive way, which I like to think that it's been a very positive change for me. I've certainly learned to appreciate a lot more things than I did prior to this. Or you can go to that dark place. And plenty of people do that too. I don't advise that. I don't think it really helps you or anyone around you to do that. But that's certainly, that's free will, right? That's your prerogative if that's what you want to do. But I can tell you for myself, the positive side has helped out, tremendously. And just looking at things differently and realizing that in our lives, there's very little we can control. In fact, it usually comes down to just how we react to situations. That's the control part that we have. You try to do that the best that you can, and that's really all you can do, essentially. And live every day to its fullest, because every day really is truly a gift. And when you have something that could potentially take you out, you learn to really appreciate each day, each birthday. You don't worry about like, oh, I'm getting so old, another birthday. It's like, oh my gosh, I get another birthday. That's
It's a
amazing.
privilege to be getting old.
Exactly.
Seriously, yeah, that's a great point. No, I love what you said about, first of all, just the importance of the fact that you and others have kind of places to go and look online for other people's stories. I think one of the biggest things, especially like in the mental health space in general that we talk about, is just needing to like understand and see that you're not the only person feeling this way, and that you have someone else who has gone through it or can talk about it, or just so much of fear and anxiety can come from just the unknown of anything, of just not knowing what's next. And I can not even imagine what that must feel like in a situation like this. And I'll also add on the positivity note that science has always said, the power of positive thinking, really scientifically and medically, it's all helpful.
I
And
believe it.
there's just more and more research coming out every single day. My mom was just telling me the other day, again, the research on just having the thoughts. It sounds so crazy. I remember just thinking, this can't be real, but it is real, that just having the positive thoughts and just saying that in your head over and over again, that everything's going to be fine, whatever that positive thought is for you, literally rewires and changes things going on inside your body, inside your head. And it's all connected system. And those
It's so
mirror
true.
neurons, man, the neuroplasticity, the ability to really mold our experience based on just the thoughts we're having, it's so powerful. And it's cool to know that that science, it's a science thing and not just a like
Oh,
belief
yeah.
thing, because belief and faith is so important and goes so far, but sometimes you also want that extra oomph of, okay, also scientifically speaking, this really does make a difference. So, and I
It does, and I've even heard that from my doctors. And look, the doctors are very much scientific. They're driven by the numbers. They're driven by the research. So when your doctors are saying your positive attitude has a definite great impact on how we treat you and how you can come through this, makes a huge difference when you hear that from your doctor as well. It's not just somebody going, I have faith. Well, I do. I have lots and lots of faith. But even beyond that, we can't lose sight of the fact that our brain controls everything, and you really have to learn. And again, we've talked about my little Jedi mind tricks I like to do to myself and to just get through sometimes. And sometimes you got to do that because the brain is also, wired to protect you. So it's going to always want to take you to the worst case scenario so it can protect you through the worst case scenario. And sometimes you don't want to think about the worst case scenario. Sometimes you just want to go, look, all I want to do is get through today and then get tomorrow.
Yeah.
Deal with the other stuff when I can deal with it. But for right now, I just need to get through tomorrow.
Exactly. And speaking of getting through the day, I want to talk about your last week. I think it'd be cool to give a little bit of insight into, we've talked about your work, we've talked about sometimes what your day-to-day is, but also that it varies obviously every week. I'm curious, just when it comes to work and it comes to things, what did you have going on this week and how did it feel? And also, was this week better or worse than other weeks? I know it's the end of the week. I know it's Saturday and your chemo's on Monday, so I know you've had a few days, but man, when I first jumped on with you, I thought, I bet he didn't get chemo this week. You seem so bright and cheery and have color in your face. So how did this week go and how was work and everything? And were there any challenges that you haven't faced yet or good moments? I guess highs and lows,
Well, look, I will say, always the day of chemo is always it's always a challenge for me. And really it starts kind of a few days before because my body starts to go, oh no, here we go again. Like we just started feeling really good. And for me, this last time I had 3 weeks in between. So I was feeling really good before I went in, but I knew kind of what it's going to feel like. And normally I have a really upset stomach. I mean, it's more of a nervous thing for me. They load me up with Zofran, fortunately, which is a wonderful drug that controls.
We love Zofran.
Yeah, Zofran is
Zofran.
Zofran is my friend. There's no doubt about it. And so that helps a tremendous amount because it really does help you from not being nauseous. And, I think a big change that has happened over the last decade in cancer treatment, because I remember when my grandmother, she had liver cancer and passed away from that ultimately. She was nauseous all the time. And they didn't really, back then, and this, I say back then like it was a long time ago, we're talking about the early 90s. We're not talking about all that long ago. But it was really about, you know what, that's just a side effect. You just deal with it. You just figure it out. It wasn't about really the quality of life that it is now. And the doctors now want you to have a good quality of life because they realize that, chemo is rough. There's no doubt about it. But that doesn't mean you can't still have a quality of life. So there are drugs out there that can help and assist with this. And it makes a big difference. When I go to sleep at night, I take some CBD gummies. They actually really do help. I was very resistant, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just the idea of CBD, I've never, and again, it works for people and that's great. And I certainly am not here to go, that's why, how could, not at all. Like if it works for you, then fantastic. For me individually, I was always somewhat resistant. I work in a very creative medium. I use my brain a lot with everything that I do because I'm a consultant and, I was always worried that would dull that somehow. I didn't want to feel like a zombie walking around. I
Totally.
wanted to still remain very sharp. And so I was really resistant to that whole idea for the longest time. Even, by the way, even my oncologist was like, hey, it's okay. Like, this could help. I can't obviously prescribe that for you, but I can tell you that other patients say it helps, and it could potentially help with your appetite as well. So it's something you should really, look into. And so, it really did change my perception very much. I finally said, you know what, I need to be open to this because I wasn't sleeping as well.
Yeah.
And so that definitely helps. But so I went through that, and I actually felt pretty good this time. And I think that extra week, to be totally honest, really did a lot and helped
Yeah.
me prepare for this. Had a very busy week with work. I've got about 4 or 5 different things that I'm doing. In fact, I talk to people now and they're like, you're busier now than you were before you had cancer. Like, are you crazy? Like, what are you doing? And
Did you answer? Yes, I am.
yes, but reality is it does help push me forward because it gives me purpose. When I wake up, I know I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And I can tell you during the times that I was struggling to find work, because it really is tough in the entertainment business right now, and I know it's tough in a lot of areas. I can't speak to those areas. I can only speak to entertainment because that's what I do. There's a lot of people out of work. There's a lot of people hard pressed to find work, and I feel really bad for them. So I'm very grateful that I have those things to look forward to, because when I didn't, it was really hard because you just kind of sit around and your brain starts to wonder. And when your brain starts to wonder, that's not always a good thing. I'm thankful that I'm busy. I find myself sometimes going, I can't. Maybe I've bitten off a little more than I can chew here. Opportunities happen, and I hate to let them go by because I don't know when they're going to come up again. So
I know how that goes.
yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to do this, and somehow, some way, it always works out. We figure it out. But the other thing I did this week, which was a lot of fun, is I'm a huge Disney fan. I actually
Yeah.
spent time working for the Mouse for many years and consulting with them now. But
And wait, I must add on that, Jay is not only such a Disney fan, but his home has
yeah.
Disney themed bathrooms and rooms and just shrines. It is the most beautiful Disney decked out house I've ever
Oh,
seen.
thanks,
I need
Adrian.
everyone to know that. It is so cool. Okay, continue.
So Disney is my happy place for sure. So one of the things that my doctor said to me is like, look, I'd really like you to try to get more physical activity in, and this one's been really hard for me. And it's not that I'm adverse to physical activity. I suffer from neuropathy, which, for those of you that don't know what that is, basically it's the nerves in your hands and your feet kind of go numb. And it's an unfortunate side effect for some of the drugs that they give you during chemotherapy. This happened to me my first go around with chemo over a year and a half ago. They don't know if it comes back or not. It's one of those things. There's a lot of different kinds of treatments out there, but it really pretty much deadens your nerves in your fingertips and in your feet. It's hard to describe, but basically just imagine your feet and hands being asleep all the time. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like. And your hands get very cold because the blood's not flowing the way that it normally did because of the nerve endings and all of that. So for me, the hand thing I get through, I've got heated gloves and different things that kind of work. But the feet's a totally different story, because the feet, sometimes it feels like you've literally got a sock rolled up underneath your foot, even though you don't have a sock on. And so that's caused me to lose my balance. I've fallen a couple of times. And so to be really careful, when you're walking, essentially. And where I live, I used to love because there are lots of hills. So I would walk those hills up and down. During COVID, I started walking. I lost a lot of weight. I was walking 8 miles a day. I was walking a half marathon every Saturday, doing like 13 miles on Saturday. So I was walking on average about 80 plus miles a week. I would have 20,000 steps in before 6 a.m. every
Oh my
day.
gosh.
And I did that for over a year nonstop. I mean, every single day because I just was into it so much. And then all of this started happening and slowly but surely it started to get a lot harder. So what I found though is that I can go down to Disneyland every now and then and people watch and get my walking in. So
Wow. Yeah.
I ended up my wife, I'd gotten her an annual pass for the last couple of years, and I was always like, "You go down there. It's a drive down to Anaheim and all that." But I went ahead and got me an annual pass now, and it's really our time together that we get to spend. So we go down there every couple of weeks, and I get my 8 miles of walking in, which I did this past Thursday, which is not bad considering I had chemo 3 days before. So I was really
Not bad at all.
so I was really
Wow.
happy about that. It definitely wore me out. I felt like we got there about 10 o'clock in the morning and we left about 10 that night. So it was about 12 hours. But I definitely started feeling it about 7 o'clock. It was like, okay, well, this is really hitting me pretty.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Was it less crowded because it was a weekday? Were
It
there?
was, we like to go down on like a Thursday because the crowds aren't really bad at all. I mean, the place is always crowded. Like we always joke, like, what do these people do? Like, do these
Yeah.
kids not go to school? Like, what's going on? And I think there's some fall break stuff happening now too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all decorated for Halloween, but I love it because it's not hilly like my neighborhood. So it's relatively flat, but also you can just stop and people watch, which I enjoy doing. I love seeing how happy the kids are there and, watching the parents reminds me a lot when we took our kids when they were a lot younger.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, it's a place full of positive energy, right? And so when you want to stay positive, put yourself into positive environments, I say.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Um,
that.
and so that's been really great. So I did that on Thursday, and then Friday I paid the price because I had to move a lot of meetings to Friday, and I was still doing some work, looking at stuff, returning emails, which I don't really mind. I don't do it to the degree that I used to do where it was like block out everything and just work. I think I have a good mix of that now, which is good. Finally, at 57 years old, I've figured that out.
Yeah.
Took a little while to get to the
Hey, better
but I
late
finally
than
got there.
never.
Better late than never,
Better than
exactly.
never. Oh,
But yesterday I was literally in meetings from 9 to 4 o'clock. So
wow.
that was pretty exhausting after the day,
Ah,
at Disney. I have some work this weekend, but again, I don't mind that.
yeah.
The work for me is not really work. I mean, it is, but it's something I enjoy doing very much.
Yeah.
Just like teaching my class, I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy the students.
Yeah.
Again, I get a lot of positive energy from that. What you'll see if you looked at my schedule during the week, I try to stay in positive environments as much as I can, because going to the doctors a lot, going to chemo a lot, that can be very depressing, even though the healthcare people there are amazing at City of Hope and Duarte. I mean, these are special people that work there. They really are. I mean, from the parking attendant to the janitor to your doctors, they're all so nice. And they realize what everyone's going through there. But just seeing other people and you realize that, hey, look, yeah, I'm in this fight too, but there are people that have it way, way worse than I do, And so it's natural to go, woe is me. I have cancer. I have a deadly form of cancer. Woe is me. And then you see these people and you're like, it could be a lot worse. Like, I'm here every day. I'm present. I'm still doing things. I'm still able to work. I'm still able to walk. I have a lot to be thankful for.
And I was actually going to say, when you're, talking about how nice it is that you love your work and your work is also a welcomed distraction. Because I know that
Yes.
feeling of just, it's, when you're just inside your own thoughts and nothing else to distract you or think about. I can't imagine how overwhelming that can be. And I have a couple questions. First, do you ever, because you are doing this work and you had a bunch of meetings, are there ever parts of the day where you kind of just forget that you have cancer? Or is it not possible?
No, there is, and I love it. And what I love is I try, I mean, the work that I do, I mean, most people know what I'm going through. I don't talk about it a lot because I really want people to treat me and recognize me as just a person that doesn't have cancer. We've talked about this before. It's human nature. The minute you see someone suffering, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for you. And I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. It means a lot to me when people say that. And I think it's hard because I think of myself when someone tells me that. It's like, what do you say to someone like that? I mean, so I totally respect that. But I can tell you as someone going through it, it means so much more when they give you an attaboy at work, like, hey, that's a great idea, because then you feel like, hey, I'm back to the way I used to be
Right.
before I had this diagnosis. Maybe I haven't lost it. Maybe I can still do this. And I really believe I can, not to the degree, the hours that I used to work and put in. But by the way, I'm a little bit older now too, than I was then. So there
Yeah.
is a little bit of that factor, I think, that plays into that as well. That's really why I like staying busy because, yeah, there are times, especially times when you're feeling pretty good. Believe it or not, there are times where I do feel back to the way that I used to be,
That's amazing.
and then I try not to look in the mirror because I had a full head of hair then too, so that usually brings me back pretty quickly. I'm like, oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. But
Yeah, that thing.
that thing, it's honestly, it's not the lack of hair, it's the lack of eyebrows I find that are just so disturbing. Like,
Yeah.
really, the eyebrows had to fall out too, right? Just it couldn't just be the hair. It had to
Right? I
be the
know. Come
eyebrows.
on. Like, come on, man. You can put some of those costume eyebrows on.
I
Just
know. I
here,
had to start
Kathy.
drawing those on.
You're like, Kathy, they grew back overnight. Oh my gosh.
It's amazing. Yeah, but do the fake mustaches, only put
Yeah.
over each eye. That
Oh, you could probably have some epic Halloween costumes. No bald cap necessary.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking Lex Luthor this year.
Ooh,
Could be very
yeah.
good.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Very much. Superman came out this year. I can see
Uh-huh.
Luthor.
Very fitting. Yeah, why
There's
not?
a lot of things you can do with this. So
No, for real. Oh, we're gonna have to see photos of that, please.
yes. Oh, but hey, I did bring some show and tell today. I wanted to
Ooh,
do something.
okay. I like that.
So one thing, and don't ask me why I started doing this, but every time you go to the doctor, you get a wristband. They give
Mhm.
you a wristband. And so I've collected every single wristband from every single doctor's appointment. So this will blow you away.
Wow.
This is 2.5 years
Oh my gosh.
of battling cancer and wristbands.
You guys, he's literally showing me a giant, like, cooler tote full, absolute fist full of wristbands.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's just a nice reminder that, hey, I've really come a long way.
Wow.
And so
Oh,
I
yeah.
I see these again, I don't see that as a negative. I see that as a very much a positive. And again, very thankful that I've had those doctor visits to keep me here and
Wow.
my healthcare team. But I do that again, it's a good visual to say, come a long way, not bad.
That's a great point. I would be the exact same way. I'm a collector like that. And I think that is such a good take is not looking at that like, oh, look how many times I've been in the hospital, look how many times I've had to get chemo, but rather, yeah, reminding yourself that you have come so far and you're still here and you're still fighting it. I think that's such a great strategy. I have a friend who lives in Michigan who's dealing with some chronic illness right now, and literally she'll text me just photos throughout her day, and I tell her, keep texting me these because every now and then I'll remind her if she's having kind of a tougher day. I'll be like, hey, go reread our texting conversation and remind yourself like how far you've come, because I can see it as her friend, how far she's come.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's probably tough to remember that when you're in the middle of it. And then she'll actually look back and be like, oh, wow, yeah, that I've actually come so far. I used to be in such a worse place. And it's really cool to have like physical physical or tangible mementos like that to remind yourself. I think that's awesome. And it could be turned into a really cool piece of art.
Well, I've thought about that. I thought about kind of almost a tree where, each branch has these attached to them,
Ah, that would be
Just again, it's the visuals are really important because when you're in this fight again, and we've talked about, I've had anger. Anger is a form of grief, and you do kind of grieve the life that you used to have sometimes, but at the same time, it's foundationally changed me, I think, in many good ways. I don't think I was ever a particularly bad person.
no.
I've made my share of mistakes like anybody else in this world, and things that I probably wish I would have handled differently. But I genuinely really do love other people and spending time with them, and I treasure all of that time that I've had. But I will say, when you're working, especially when you're younger and you're worried about getting to that next position or that next thing, that becomes your focus, and you kind of obsess over it, and you miss things along the way because you're so focused on that. I think going through this struggle has really helped me focus on other things. Like, for instance, my wife makes fun of me sometimes, is I'll just stare out the window and I'll watch a bird. I'll just watch a bird. Like, it's pretty incredible how these birds,
I love that.
like, fly and walk.
Yeah.
They drink water out of our pool. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And I'm like, I've never seen a bird that looks like that. Even though these birds have lived here for long. I mean, I'm sure I've looked past them countless times.
That a metaphor for life. Oh my God.
Yeah, but you really do. You start, things slow down a bit, which is a good thing. And I think, appreciate those things so much more, because I think, and I get it, especially when we're younger, we all take life for granted. We all think that we're going to be, immortal. Nothing's going
Yeah.
to happen to me.
Nope.
And the reality is, something's going to happen to all of us one day. That's just the ebb and flow of life. Some things happen sooner for others, unfortunately, but you have to get through that. But again, these are all things that make us the people that we are. And
Yeah.
so I don't really regret it in that, gosh, I had to go through that, because I wouldn't be where I am today. And, my hope is, that I can, at least what I'm going through, help some other people out there that may just be starting this journey or through it, and maybe not looking at things the same way, to maybe look at some things differently, and to try and put more positivity into what they're doing, and understand that, yes, it's tough that you're battling this, but look, at the end of the day, you're still here. I had an office one time at Disney that overlooked the cemetery. And I know that sounds like, wow, that's a really rough view out your window. And I remember I'd be having a bad day, the meeting didn't go well, didn't get something I was hoping I would get, and I'd come back and be like, this place I don't understand. And then I'd look over there and I'd go, I bet you anyone over there would trade places with me right now, and to have the issues that I have, because they can't really do anything about that. They're in the ground. I know that's a morbid way to look at things, just kind of how my brain processes things. But it's like, any of those people would love to have the issues that I have right now. And I need to get over it. And I need to understand and be thankful that I have what I have. And then, you know what? So what? There's a new day coming. We'll figure it out. And it always gets figured out.
It's so inspiring. It's not a weird way to look at things. That's how everyone should look at things. That is such a clever, fun way to look. Because we only have our one life. Why not make it fun and lighthearted? And why not look over at a cemetery and think, you know what? At least I'm here and they're over there. I think that's incredible. And so true and so inspiring. Like, I love zooming out sometimes when I feel like the world is just really heavy, and I zoom out and I just, again, this might sound morbid too, but I don't care. I'll zoom out and just say nothing really matters, like, at all. Like, actually nothing matters if you really think about it. Nothing is serious and nothing makes that big of a difference, and nothing really matters because we're all just specks on a floating rock in the universe. And I love thinking about it like that. Some people get overwhelmed, but I like that.
Well, and here's what I will say, Adrian, and I really truly mean this. I mean, God has blessed me in many, many ways. I've had an incredible career. You know, I came from a little small town in Indiana. I loved movies. I loved entertainment growing up. I started my career in radio, which I absolutely love. I've gotten to do things that I only dreamed about. And the fact that I actually got to do these things, you know, movie premieres, celebrities, you know, working at one of the most creative companies in the world, you know, I felt like the major league of creativity. I've arrived, you know, getting to do all that. And then, you know, that's great. But what I'm really proud of is how well my family has done. You know, my kids are all doing so great. They're, you
Yeah.
know, they have significant others that are just amazing. And I've said before that my wife and I couldn't have handpicked any better. You know, they're all thriving. And so for me, knock on wood, I want to be here a long time. But if it ended today, I'm good. I'm happy. You know, I'm really happy with everything and couldn't imagine it being any better than it is, honestly. And I say that having cancer, and I feel like I'm going to beat this too. And
Yeah.
if I don't, I damn sure gave it my best shot. I can tell you that. So
100%. Oh, that must be such a great feeling of
it
just,
is. You know, it takes so much just out of the equation
yeah,
when you're like, I'm good. No, I'm
yeah,
good. You know, it's because
yeah.
as a parent, and again, I'm very proud of everything that I've obtained professionally. I've worked really hard to do that, and I hope that I've set a, you know, a good precipice for my kids. But at the end of the day, it's the family that I'm really proud. I mean, that's my legacy that I feel
Yeah.
so good about with all of my kids and my wife. You know, we've got our 35th anniversary coming up in January. You know, that to me is really that's the important stuff in
Mhm.
life. The business professional stuff is great icing on the cake for me. The fact that I've got both is like it's like hitting the lottery, you know?
Absolutely. And it's so easy to get stuck in those periods of just wanting more in one or the other and
Yeah.
be able to step back and slow down and just be like,
And I've been there, believe me. You
yeah.
know, I look, I was a senior vice president in my early 30s at Disney, which I was very proud of. But it was always about what's next? What's next? And the thing is, it's kind of a fool's errand because there's never a finish line. You're never finished. It's always the minute you get to the next thing, the line gets pushed out further. And then there's another thing and
Yeah.
another thing and another thing. And I've worked with plenty of people that have lots and lots of money. This isn't, believe me, I don't have like money to retire on by any stretch. So it's not about a money thing, but I've worked with plenty of people that have plenty of money, live in big major houses, and they're some of the saddest, most miserable people that I've ever seen. And it's really sad to see it firsthand, you know? So the fact that I can be, you know, okay, we've been blessed, certainly, but I don't worry about the money like I used to either anymore because, you know, that's another thing that can just kind of take over our lives, which
Yeah.
is also not good. I mean, don't get me wrong, we all got to pay the bills. I get that, and I've been in those situations where I don't know if we're going to be able to get that monthly bill paid, but there's more to life than that. There has to be. And the reality is none of us take it with us, regardless. You enter this life and you leave this life the same way.
Oh, true. Literally
You
true.
do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, that's an incredible perspective. And I love hearing like the inner workings of your brain. I think it's what I would strive to think like and be like. So I
You're
love
probably
hearing.
like, that guy's crazy.
No, for the record, this guy's the least crazy guy people have ever heard or seen.
So Adrian, so you know, I've been spouting off as always, which I very
And
much appreciate that you've
yeah,
given
that's
me
what we
this
want.
platform.
That's what we want, Jake. Give the people what they
But
want.
but let's be honest, you're the one with all the followers, so clearly they
Oh.
you. So
Oh.
let's hear about your highs and lows of the week. I know
Oh.
your highs being the Mariners winning in 15 innings.
Oh yeah,
But
man. Oh, that's all your girl needs. Woo! No, I mean, let's be honest, this is not about me at all. But for entertainment's sake, sure, we will always do our highs and lows. Yeah, I mean, come on. The Mariners winning, that just seals the deal. I'll also say I just spent about 10 days with family My mom
Nice.
flew in from Seattle, and then we went to Vegas with my brother. We saw Paul McCartney. It was great. Speaking of actual pancreas and health issues, he was having a bit of a pancreas flare up of pain in Vegas, which was not ideal, but in a world where we're talking about like best and worst case scenarios, it could have been a lot worse. We were worried he'd have to be hospitalized. We were worried like it would be a lot worse. And he ended up like getting through the weekend and being able to do everything with us. This might be like my high and low wrapped in one, because obviously it was scary and not fun knowing we're on a weekend away vacation he wants so bad, and he barely ever has these episodes anymore. And of course, right, when we're traveling, but it ended up being fine. He pulled through. We had a great time, went to a concert. And then my mom came back to LA with me, and we just spent the week together. And it's so funny. Like, my mom and I are best friends. We're the same person. We both just never shut up. We stay up late. Like, we're just crazy. And so, after a few days, I'm like, Mom, oh my God, get out of my face. But then I'm also like, no, don't ever leave me. It's one of those things.
Oh, sure. Well, and listen, I can tell everyone. I mean, Adrian, I've been lucky enough to meet Adrian's family, and she has the most adorable family. They're just really, really wonderful, and love her mom and her brother. He's such a nice guy. I mean, just a really great family. So it's no surprise that Adrian turned out the way she did.
Oh, well, thank you, Kay. Coming from my second dad, as you are, that means a lot. Yeah, so no, highs and lows, definitely just family time and Mariners winning. We're in a really fun. It's so funny. I've never been so into sports as I am now, and I think part of it could just be it's one of those remaining just carefree, fun, happy, exciting things that if you think about it, doesn't matter at all. Like, what are sports? Why do they exist?
They're
Literally
they're
just
great metaphors for life, really.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the escapism that comes,
Oh, I've been feeling that, the escape.
Yeah.
So
And
it's been really great.
you really get invested, if you're a fan of anything. And by the way, not only sports, you can be a fan of Disney. I mean, you get so invested. It's a fun thing, It's just like why people collect things, like, because it makes them happy. There's core memories tied to those things,
You know what else on that note, the last thing that also came up kind of like that, and this is everyone listening, I'm sure, is already a big Swiftie. I will say I have been not so in tune, like I haven't listened to a bunch of her albums. I've really been off the radar of knowing what's up with Miss Swift. And I will say I took a listen to her latest album in the car the other day, and man, did that make me happy. It was so good and upbeat and fun, and I just thought about her love. See, this is me coming from the football world. I love Travis Kelce, and I'm like, all right, let me listen to this. And it is just...
Kelce brothers are amazing, by the way.
Yes,
love those guys.
I love them. And so listening to her album, I was listening with a whole new light because I was just thinking to myself about their love story, and it was such a nice escape. Just like, all right, there's still some people in the world just trying to have fun. Like, we're just trying to love each other and have fun, and like not, I mean, when everything gets so heavy, like, it's tough. So that was a very, very much a high as well. Everyone should listen. I'm sure everyone has. I'm like the last person on the planet, but it was great.
I have so much respect for Taylor Swift, and mine comes from a purely marketing standpoint. I mean, she and her team, and I know it's largely her dad, they have built such an amazing platform and an amazing brand. And obviously, she's true to that brand. And she's very loyal to her fans, which I think is very admirable of her as well. Her music is okay for me. I'm not the demo by any stretch.
Yeah.
I appreciate her very, very much in terms of what she does and what she means. And she's another one that just seems to be very happy with her place in life right now. Just awesome, by the way. Everyone should be
totally. No, I know. I could not have said it any better. I've always respected her work ethic, her business, but also just her values. Her values, how much they come through and everything she does, I think is so respectable. Like, that's how I always aim to be, even on my little tiny social media pages. It's like, I just want my values to always be true. Like, I want to be true to my values always. And I think that's why she's making such a positive impact in the world. So good job, Miss Swift. We love ya. Yeah, what a week it's been.
That was listen, I think this was a fun one.
was
Thank
a
you
very
again
fun one.
for keeping it going. And again, as we like to say, cancer sucks,
Cancer sucks.
but your life doesn't have to.
No, it doesn't. So thanks for listening, y'all. We'll see you in the next episode.
Do it again in a week.
Woo! Bye.